Horses. When you think about these majestic animals, you may think about them roaming the iconic American West, their bond with humans throughout history, or horses in the present day. Survivors, partners, and friends. Horses have made their home in North America for quite some time. But do you know the true story of the horse? In evolutionary terms, the ancestors of the horse family appeared 53 million years ago, just 13 million years after the demise of the dinosaurs, placing them among the oldest groups of North American mammals to have survived into modern times. Thanks to the Bering Land Bridge that from time to time connected Alaska to eastern Siberia, early horses were able to expand their range by crossing from North America into Eurasia. The ancestor of the modern horse, Equus caballus, made the trip sometime between 800,000 and 1 million years ago. According to fossil records, horses continued to thrive in North America until around 11,000 years ago, when something happened that is still one of the greatest mysteries in natural history. At that time, dozens of large species died out in the Americas. It used to be thought that horses also died out at the same time, but new evidence indicates they survived until much later. How long, we don't yet know. Meanwhile, thanks to earlier migrations across Beringia, Equus survived in Eurasia and other parts of the Old World, where it was eventually domesticated 6,000 years ago. It's long been assumed that when Europeans brought their horses to North America 500 years ago, this was the first time that horse hooves had been heard in the New World. It wasn't. It's part of the mission of Canna Foundation's Back Home project to find out more and confirm that horses are a native species to North America by working with experts using ancient DNA techniques to establish the horse's genetic history and to verify that the modern horses we see today belong to the same stock as the horses that once roamed Ice Age North America. So next time you see a horse in real life or in the movies, think about their rich ancient pedigree and how lucky we are to be able to experience these special animals now and for many years to come.
There's beauty out there, a lot of beauty. It'd be good if you could see it. But if you can't see it, just imagine it. And imagine how wrong it would be to go out there and just take them out. For no good reason. The threat's there, but it sure ain't the horses.
I actually think very few Canadians realize what a beautiful population of wild horses we have. This population in Alberta is of great interest, I think, to Canadians in that It's one of the few places in Canada that you can come and reliably see wild horses just an hour and a half outside of Calgary.
I think that the Alberta wild horses have a very unique look about them. They don't look like any other wild horses because of that sturdy, sort of strong, very, very muscular look about them.
The Alberta wild horses are of significant importance to Alberta as a reminder of the past that we honour, and as an aesthetic that we can't afford to lose.
So few Albertans even know there's wild horses in Alberta. It's fascinating, really.
Well, we first got involved with wild horses back when there was a large roundup at the Suffield Air Force Base. And we made an attempt to stop that through a court action. But very quickly, the government moved in and rounded up those horses, and some were adopted out and some went to slaughter. And since that time, there's been ongoing government-sanctioned culling across the province of Alberta.
Why are they being culled? Why is the government trying to get rid of them? It came down to the ranchers and the land use.
It's competition. Competition for land and competition for resources.
So here in Alberta, the ranchers use what we call crown land. So they will lease crown land for, I don't know, a few cents, and they turn their cattle out so they don't have to feed them for the summer. The ranchers feel that the horses are taking away from their livelihood by they're eating some of the food that their cattle could be grazing on.
That's essentially free food for their cattle. If it was any other industry in Canada, this wouldn't be happening. So about 5 years ago, we initiated a campaign where we engaged Wayne McCrory to look at all of the evidence that the government was relying on when they said that the horses were overpopulated and making arguments that they were somehow creating some damage.
So we said, okay, that could be true. Let's look at it. Show us where this is happening. We want to come out and look at it. If need be, bring out a range ecologist with us and just evaluate it and send us your report, show us those sites. And basically the lead person in Edmonton said, well, we really don't have any sites to show you. And we said, well, why not? Well, they just wouldn't answer that question.
In no case can it be proven that the horses have degraded environmental integrity anywhere near the degree to which overgrazing by cattle has done, and the clear cutting, which is just horrific.
There's an entity called the Feral Horse Advisory Committee that essentially says, okay, well, this is how many horses there are, this is how many horses we think we should cull this year. The ranchers sit on this advisory committee, and some of the ranchers that sit on that committee are also issued capture permits. So they profit off of capturing these wild horses. Rather than calling them wild, they'll call them feral horses because it's easier to get rid of a feral animal than a wild animal.
Because it evolved in North America, wild horse is not really a feral animal. The Spaniards who brought them to North America in the early 1500s were really reintroducing a species that evolved here.
The horse is basically North America's gift to the world. It is here in North America that the family of equida, as we might say, actually originated, and 60 million years ago.
The health of an ecosystem is based on its biodiversity. So it makes no sense to get rid of these wild horses. And there's been studies that have shown that they actually contribute to the ecosystem.
Cattle never evolved in North America. They're not that related to our wild bison. You know, other than for economic reasons, don't fit into the ecosystem the way the wild horses do.
They dig up frozen over snow to make grazing available for deer and elk. They also can greatly contribute to wildfire prevention by eating up dried grass.
They chew off the grass, meaning they don't destroy the roots when they eat it. So the chance of damaging the grasses is far less than cattle.
You got the lead stallion, and you got an older mare, and then the nucleus with them. And so by nature, they're a herd animal. It doesn't just continue to get bigger and bigger and bigger. They're self-regulating.
Wild horses have incredibly beautiful relationships. Nudging and grooming and compassion towards each other, and stallions doing everything they can to defend their family band. Foals nudging moms, sisters, cousins, aunts, all living together. Like human families. Wild horses are no different.
Family members play their own social role in horse societies. Older members discipline younger ones. So if you cull older animals, you end up with young stallions that are not socialized.
The horses tend to be in separate bands up to maybe 15. That kind of behavior prevents them from overgrazing and starving themselves out of house and home. Unlike turning 400 cattle loose on the range that are all going to stick together and overgraze riparian areas.
Currently, the Alberta horses are the only ones with absolutely no protections. The Sable Island horses have some protection by federal policy. The horses in Saskatchewan have some legal protection provincially in the Bronson Forest. And the Chilcotin horses have another kind of protection.
In 2002, the Huntington First Nations created Western Canada's first wild horse refuge, which is about as large as Banff National Park. You're talking about a fabulous intact ecosystem with all of the natural predators like grizzly bears and wolves. And it should be a model for the Alberta foothills, where they should actually have some similar tribal parks or wild horse refuges where the horses are guaranteed there to be there for a long time.
Wild horses are very crucial to Indigenous people. The spirit of the grandfather horse is integral in our spirituality. They have the gift to foresee, and they have the gift to protect, as well as to teach.
Spiritually, they're very much a part of the environment. They take care of the waterways. Where the horses find water, they always manage to tramp down the vegetation that would have stopped the water from running. And nothing lives without water.
When the government says there's too many of these horses, I don't think so. They were meant to be just like us and just like everything else around us. You know, there's a process of life, a cycle of life. So nature itself looks after her children, her horses. If you take away their family, they are going to grieve.
To get us together and say, this is what's going to happen. We never get a chance to have our input.
We've been kept quiet for 150 years. And so now the horses are being treated the same way. So rightfully, we need to acknowledge the horse. That horse is a crucial and integral part of Mother Nature's ecosystem.
Wild horse advocates around the world and photographers, they're using their cameras to raise awareness for wild horses.
The tourism potential for wild horses here in Alberta is vastly underutilized.
To see wild horses is truly a magical and spiritual experience.
Go out and photograph them, go out and view them, go out and see how beautiful they are. Take your children out.
They're just majestic.
Alberta is horse country.
We owe a lot to the horse.
As long as we keep believing what we do about our own special place as a species and our own special, unique place on the planet, and as long as we see ourselves as in a dominant position to do what we wish with other creatures, we are putting all ecosystems in trouble, including our own.
This is a species that has served us for thousands of generations. We owe it to them to provide them the protections they need to live wild and free in Canada.
Yara, Digidene, no can hinla, Aro, He, no cow, no canelia, Ebenil deto, Benige, a code A, Nishinan tin, Sleepinan tin, beats the lago, out e, but carried in.
Size think behind it. I saw it.
Long story. The Creator make us the main one to create everything, anything to make cultivate cities. Everything important on this world. The horse has been made the east side they make black horses. South side they make blue horses. West side yellow horses. The north side is white. So they move all of them. But the white one, no, didn't move. The white horses belong to the sun. So he's alive, then he moved. The Creator, they make us. They teach us. We go out with them. They teach you everything, how to train the horses. You had to go through the ceremony. You belong to them.
My name is Clayson Benally, and I was born in a place called Black Mesa, Arizona. I grew up around Flagstaff, Grand Canyon, and I was raised with horses and was very fortunate to be connected to our culture through livestock, to understand the importance of our identity and the way that we work with our natural world. My father, Jones Benally, he's a cultural practitioner. Hatrafi is what we say in our language, which means a medicine man, a singer. As our ancestors have worked with the land and understanding that there's a balance and how to work within that. If there's something that's out of balance, we try to heal, we try to resolve, and work towards Hozho, towards beauty. To learn, to understand about how to be there for one day when I'd have my family or have my own herd of livestock or have my own horses, and how to care for them, how to just be responsible and be a dignified human.
A lot of people don't understand why they're resisting. The thing they're resisting for is that they like to drink water, to eat vegetation. They like to do that. And the most important, what they really like, nobody don't know. Only the horses know. The horses will go wander off to go see another horse, to feel better, to be loved with them, to be among them, to be as a horse. But if the human has this great love, that horse will accept that. That's what they really need. Han zache na Hozho. Ya da si ape boholni do e hop boholni akwe. Dio adi yo hot ne gi bebe just on jana. The sleepy had no nigi, yes, zinigi, the unique hour, in fact, Casey. I think I not. I don't think I call it in fact, case that chong. I don't know if I had the if I was in that ditch. Though she do job in fact, case it not in the show. Although a benina or hot ego the Nayan tech case. When take case about just kill at least I call a other in you know a who get the theater you know a what side there. Cody Satligi, where you honegi, where just about the sessions on AI, start out and shout. How does she that also just lehigi? How is she you journey to lehigi? Lehigi hit out you or lehigi on the horse up there.
Shiko, ane, shiko, ane, shiko, ane, shiko, shiko, we always have prayers and songs that we share with our family, and then also with our surroundings, wherever we're going to make a living. And we always had horses ever since time. We work with them. They know us. They know who we are as a person. And they know who we are from a distance. If we're going out there, they'll see us, and then they'll start coming towards us. They feel good about you, and you feel good about them, and they'll show you that. And the horse, too, it's holy spirituality. Between you, your horse, and the holy people. The connection is the most important thing that you want to give to yourself and your horse. And then from your children to learn that, for them to learn how to get that connection. Whenever you have a family, you will always want to get the best for your family.
Tell you a little bit of stories. When I was little, I must be only about maybe 2 years old. I was a little baby, just a little, haven't learned how to walk yet. And here, my mommy didn't see me crawling out of the house. I crawled all the way to the horse corral. My mom panicked. She see me way over there in the corral. She almost ran over there, and I was still back there, sitting underneath and playing with that hoof. And that horse was just standing there. And one day, right away, my mom thought, little Jay is gonna be a horse trainer one of these days. Hello la, hello la, hello la, hello la, hello la, hello la, hello Asia, hey. Young ho ho Shelly, ne Johnny Shelly, Nasco ne Jonako, Bio Kato. While they're running around, warming up, I sing for them. I keep train my horses through my singing because my mother, she did that before. And it's gonna take off down that way. Okay, here. Hello la, 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 hello hey ya hey ya. A lot of horsemen don't know singing can really help the horses learn fast, because just like a little baby crying, when you pick up that little baby that is crying, you pick him up, you start singing for her. Right away, they will stop crying and relax. They love to sing, they love to hear songs. That's the same way with horses. when start singing like that, they like to work out, and they will write. Yang a ho a shilling, ne shun the shilling. Nas con the shona copy o kato hey yang.
We have different songs and ceremonial teachings that each individual would have received. You might learn the Think Being, the horse songs, and those are songs that are gifted to you that go way back in the beginning of time to when the horse would have given that song to our people and said, if you use this song, I will heal you, I will take care of you, I will protect you. And these are the songs that we still carry on to this day. They're giving strength back to that horse. When those hooves strike the earth, it goes into the earth like a drum beat. The music, really the drum, the rhythm, everything I do with the horse, it's so interconnected. On the back of a horse, and I feel the muscles and I feel it walking, your body naturally moves with it, it connects. And it's almost the same as when you're playing drums, where you don't do it for the exercise or the practice of playing drums. It's the rhythm, it's the energy. That's the end result. You're creating something that's almost intangible. You see it, it's there. It's part of everything, but how do you explain it? You can feel it, you can sense it. Everything is interconnected.
That time when I was young, we shared, equally shared, because we belong to them. A lot of things that we carry on, we teach, like I say when I was a kid, learn to teach how to survive. The law, the creator, tell us what to do. We're not disturbing the earth, have to live on, because we belong to the earth. The earth is going around opposite the clockwise. So that's why here it's turning. We got nothing to do. Even the government has nothing to do with that. It's set by the natures. That's why they told us to learn, to carry on, live on this earth. We don't go to school. We're going to say one language. We don't have to educate somebody, brainwash us. Now, because we are the God, we can brainwash by anybody. We go on their own trail.
I keep my horses wild. I don't train them or break them so that way they're a domesticated horse. I like them to have their spirit, to be interconnected with its natural surroundings, to have its instincts, to be wild, to be free, to know what it is to move on the land, the hills, the earth. It's part of it. Myself, I prefer to ride without a saddle because I can feel the emotions, I can sense what that horse is thinking. These horses, they have such an amazing wisdom of the land. They know, they understand things. and I trust them. I look to them. They're the ones that guide me. If I'm riding and I'm going into a canyon or off of a cliff or something that is very dangerous, I let them have their head. I give them their freedom, and I let them guide me through it, because this horse is an extension of my body. So I don't need to try to control it. I don't need to try to dominate, but rather, it's like being like a bird on the back of a horse. Just be light. To be so interconnected where your thoughts guide you. In Navajo, we call it Nehtzakes, our thought process.
My name is Julian. I've been around horses for as long as I can remember. I've always had a passion for them, but I have walking issues. I don't walk like everybody, and that is something that I'm not really comfortable with. The problem is not coming from me, it's coming from other people. It's the glance of people on me and the judgment that I can feel when I'm walking in the streets or wherever. That is the problem. For anybody, there are tough moments. There have been falls, there have been injuries, but it doesn't matter, because the patient is stronger than anything, and you get back on. There's nothing that stops me from doing what I want to do. I know what I want him to do, but he doesn't get it right away, so I'm trying to think, what am I doing wrong? Ooh.
You had like a Wild West moment right there.
Yeah.
A little scary?
Well, I wasn't expecting it, but it wasn't that scary, because sometimes I can feel sort of vulnerable when I don't know the horse, but when I get to know him or her, a bond that is created, I feel stronger. With horses, there's no judgment. They look at us, they smell us, and there's a connection that you can establish just, with being around them, and eventually you ride them. I love the connection with the horses. I love being around them, riding them, and when I'm on their back, it's like I'm free. Like there's nothing that can stop me.
Right. Every time I look at you, you just be smiling, and the way you're just working on, just the way you were sitting, so connected. You were so perfect.
We communicate, and then sometimes the horse you train right, and they will protect you too. Not only for the same protection, there's something that you learn the power that you work with the horses. So that way you power you going, no matter where you're going, come protect you.
بتسكي خاطين ابن يات الحين كان جنوخا يصندو خوش إداد ليك ناس إن يات عادي جن هادلون سكيس هلليك هينا ننيجي إيدي ناسو هجنوغ بالناسو دشكيل هو 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 هو. Good job, good job. You okay? You okay? You okay? Kishin na to hasin lo. Sin jonin ledo les se Adonan Ligiza Toto Les Johnny Lila Ishi Portish Ashens Illa Jehaj in the Shaven of this Kiva Biga Conjoga. What I seen Lada Dodo or Ada I see Bahane Jashi.
We are not separate nations, the horse nation, the human nation. We need each other. When we feel ill, when we are off balance, when we have disharmony in our body, in our life, in our emotions, the horses know, and they come to you in a way that's to help. As Dene, we have always used the horse for medicine. Every aspect of what the horse is, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. When a warrior comes back from war, a special ceremony is done that utilizes the horse to reintroduce that person, that warrior, back into the community, to reset the mind from post-traumatic stress disorder, from anxieties, and to help heal that person emotionally, physically, and spiritually from the effects of war. The horse is a medicine for our people.
For Dene people, we have something that's very special and unique that connects a person from birth all the way till death. And when you're born and when you come into this world, that connection from your mother in the womb, the umbilical cord can be tied to the mane of a hair of the horse. When you tie that umbilical cord to the horse's mane, that it ensures a connection with that horse, that person, when they grow up, they're going to be connected, they're going to be able to ride and just be one with the horse. And when you connect with the horse, it's a way of actually teaching us about ourselves, about our humanity. You start to learn about how to respect another life. We might no longer here. They're in the spirit world, and one day, I know I'll be reunited with them. So I've had so many beautiful interactions and encounters. They've been my greatest teacher.
So that's like our life. Work with the horses, the animals, and what we raise. And today, a little bit difficult for us. So it's very important to learn about to people something that I was thinking about to show some way for young people to understand. So that's an Arabic Hozho, yet working health, working the beauty.
American Mustang. Gathered from their homeland. Here, they wait.
It's the beauty all around
waiting
me.
For you.
It's the beauty in my
waiting
heart. It's the
for me.
ever-present beauty, even when I fall apart.
My life is immersed with these Mustangs.
There's a herd of horses in my heart.
The herd is my heartbeat.
Running like the wind, wild
Gifting my deepest, authentic me.
gifts of life and authenticity, bringing me back home to becoming me. I was lost,
Recently gathered from their wild mountain home,
but now I see
these two called to my heart. And so our family loaded up in grace and embarked on a grand adventure.
came into my life. You gave me eyes to see. When the road feels too long, on your back you carry me. There's a herd of horses in my heart.
Okay, so please know, we didn't have a fancy camera crew following us for this trip. We just took off, our family in grace, and I literally videoed with the camera out the window as we drove. So it's a little bumpy. There's a big crack in the window. Quite a few times where I looked back and thought, how did I not see that the window was that dirty? But you know, it's real. It's our life, and it is this adventure that I so want to share with you, just in its raw, real beauty. We are actually doing this. Holy cow. Now, if we were going to adopt these two Mustangs, we had to go get them right away. They were in a holding facility in Oregon, and as you might can tell, our family resides in the South. Are you driving? You are? Where are we gonna go? Really? That sounds good to me. Let's do it. Bye-bye. Bye-bye? Bye-bye? And by the way, anytime you see captions like this, that means you're watching real-time audio from this very real time of our life. We are going down our driveway on our
Mom, are you
adventure.
buckling?
I'm gonna buckle before we get to the blacktop. Are you buckled?
Yes. Daddy, you buckled? I see you think.
So we are cruising. It's Billy K's yard and eating a banana sandwich. There is Daddy driving. There is Sarlin over here snoozing. There is Ingrid snoozing. Do we see Betty? Yeah, Betty. And there is the road. I think I found my sign. You see it? There it is. That is my sign. Seeing as we were traveling from the southeast to the northwest across the entire country in February, it was a little intimidating to try to map out every state that we would cross and exactly the route we would take. So we didn't even try it. We just headed in the direction we needed to go, taking it one state at a time. You see, we knew what we needed to do. We knew where we needed to go. We just weren't exactly sure how we were going to get there. But somehow, we knew that we would.
I don't know where I go, I just know I'm here. Take me where I need to grow, show me that you're near. 'Cause I believe, oh I believe, yes I believe. I believe in the love you give to me each and every day. I believe in the light in the eyes around that guide me on my way. I believe in the stars and the moonlit sky smiling down on me. I believe in the art of letting go that sets my spirit free. 'Cause I believe, oh I believe.
Oh, I haven't told you this, but a couple years before, my husband and I had started dreaming up some big trip. We just got to talking about it out of the blue and said, what would we do if we could do anything? Somehow he and I started talking about this big road trip out west with our family in a big RV. And we were talking about the places we would go, and the Grand Canyon was definitely on the list. Have I mentioned that I'm scared of heights? Holy cow. Are you holding her hand? Okay. Yeah. Hold Philly K's hand.
That's really low.
It's really high.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that is low, yeah.
I mean, you can't even really tell.
Yeah, it's like we're in the clouds.
We're like in a cloud.
Look, see? Have you ever tasted a cloud before?
No.
Mm.
Okay, let's go to that castle.
I like this side of the log. So that tower, they are in that. I am not.
Hold on. Okay. Stand over here, Philly K. Okay. Tell me, where are you?
At the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, don't jump on that. Don't jump.
Art of letting go sets my spirit free. 'Cause I believe, oh I believe. I believe, yes I believe. Change may take me by surprise if I don't stay away. Always come in a disguise, dressed in the love we made. Sometimes I may feel so lost, wondering where you are. I surely know our paths have crossed, you can't be too far. 'Cause I believe, oh I believe. I believe, yes I believe.
So there's this huge mountain, and it doesn't look like we're going to go over it. I think that we're going to go through it. Doesn't it look like they, I hope we don't run into it too, doesn't it look like they kind of like sectioned it out so we could go through it? We will see. Wow. We are going like into the mountain. Thinking we're past the mountains.
Like, we're kind of going in it, you guys. Guys, we're kind of going in it.
Oh, my little heart. My little putter putter. It goes putter putter. Yours goes flutter flutter while mine goes putter putter.
Now, why does yours go putter putter?
This is unreal.
snow on top. And then we drove to the top of them. And here we are.
We are going 25 miles an hour.
And Grace is pulling strong. Before we get too far in this wild adventure, I want to share with you just why our family was so willing to load up and trek all the way across the country to bring these two wild souls home. You see, when I was a child, Breyer horses were my Barbie dolls. My shy, timid heart grew to a place of confidence and security as I imagined up my wild pony dreams. As I grew older, my heart opened even wider as the Mustang bestowed gifts on our family beyond my wildest dreams.
This horse was wild, never touched. No saddle, no bridle. Just a girl and her horse. Silver line.
When the day came that my very own Wild Mustang partner was immortalized as a BREYER Model horse, I was overcome with desire to encourage others to love their own dreams into realities. And so I have written children's books, taught to schools, and I'm creating this documentary for you in hopes you will follow your own heart and see that dreams do come true. So to travel all the way across the country to bring these two wild mares home to our heart herd of Mustangs and give them the gift of a forever life together, well, how could we not do it? Speaking of, I bet you are wanting to know more about these two wild mares. It was their invisible cord of connection that drew me to them early on. And apparently, I was not the only one. The Bureau of Land Management, known as BLM, manages these wild Mustangs. They determine how many Mustangs the land can support, and they routinely gather Mustangs off the range. These Mustangs are brought to holding facilities where they are made available to the public through adoptions. Well, the BLM employees had noticed just how bonded these two were. Out of hundreds of wild horses, these two were always seen side by side. Their tag numbers were even in consecutive order, as they had followed one another, head to tail, through the chutes to receive their freeze brands and vaccines. One BLM employee told me, "We think one of the mares might have eyesight issues, as she runs around seemingly blind if split from the other." They had even written on their description that they highly recommended that these two be adopted together. Their close bond had apparently started long before they were captured. Thanks to the dedicated wild horse photographers, these mares were highly photographed in their homeland. Once I realized this, I set out researching their history. Were they sisters? They sure looked like they could be. I quickly identified the younger of the two mares. Her name, bestowed on her by the adoring photographers, was Omega. And her mother was a bold Palomino pinto mare named Calypso. Her sire was Atlas, a dark pinto stallion. I was excited to find that Omega had a full biological matching sister. Her name was Mira, and I easily found many images of these two fillies together in the wild. I would have forever assumed that these were the two mares we were adopting, had it not been for the detailed photojournals kept by the photographers that befriended me. It turns out that Omega's sister, Mira, had split away from Omega and their mother, Calypso. She joined a young Mustang stallion named Little Eagle. These two had not been gathered and were busy starting their own family in the wild. So, who was the other mare? It turns out that in 2014, an unknown mystery mare had joined the stallion Mateo's band. Not long after, Omega joined as well. The photographers said that as soon as these two came together, they were never again seen apart. These were not biological sisters. These were soul sisters. We had to adopt them both. Plus, there was something so familiar about these two. Though at the time, I just could not place why.
It's the beauty all around me. ever longing to shine through. So go ahead and go ahead and go ahead and wake me. I can no longer stay asleep and let this life mistake me. Go ahead and go ahead and go ahead and wake me. I can no longer stay asleep and let this life mistake me. Accepting how I feel. It's trust beyond my own control, knowing that my heart will heal.
And off we go. Driving all the way across the country with 2 wild horses is a bit tricky. I mean, you cannot unload a wild horse just anywhere. You have to have a special facility with really tall fences. And you've got to be able to load them back up. The reason they went in so easily at pickup was because these holding facilities are designed for wild horses. To try to load them without a proper setup could be extremely dangerous. dangerous for them. Once loaded in the trailer, the best thing that we could do was to get these girls home. It had taken us 8 days to come up the southern trek that we made coming to get these two girls. So as we, debated about which way we should go home, we decided the straightest shot would be the best. We checked the weather, and although it was February, the skies were clear, not a snowflake in the forecast for the next 5 days. So we headed towards... when it wasn't snowing outside, that it wasn't snowing outside. So the road is closed up ahead, and we are finding a parking space for the night, which they're all full because everybody is needing to find a parking space for the night. And the policemen have staked out this path for us to drive to find a safe spot to park the trailer. That's what we're doing. We are in Wyoming. The road ahead of us is closed. So this is where we stay for the night. See all those trucks? They're the same thing we are. And then see all the trucks behind us? They're doing the same thing we are. But the Soul Sisters are hunkered down in their stall, and they're eating and drinking, and they've got a big old cozy trailer. They're dry in there. The wind isn't on them. They got a wind block. They are calm, and they're just fine. They're doing great. We have Grace, and all is well. Betty's not too far. So we are still here in Wyoming. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning, and they've lifted the block on the roads up ahead, but there's of course still black ice and blowing snow and tons of craziness. And the horses did so good last night in the trailer. And here's all the trucks still sitting here. They're like all around, like everywhere you look there's trucks waiting to get going tomorrow. So anyway, on the surface, it is really scary, like really scary, because this particular area is, big, tall, high surface area vehicles have flipped from the wind on this road before. But no, I just feel so protected in Grace.
Sparkling gems of blue. The ocean lives inside me, lives inside of you. The ocean of existence, with waves that come and go.
Come back here, Peppy. Because you were fast and lively.
I'm entering the flow. Surrender to the power. Surrender to the grace. Surrender to the only one, love of God's embrace. And I long to shine in your light. And I long to live in your love. And I long to dance at your feet, and I long to remember you in each heartbeat.
Our family was so held in grace. The stark contrast of how terrifying our external reality was, with the safe, protected feeling. The feeling was so real, it was like you could just reach out and touch it. You see, my very best friend had only recently passed away. Her spirit had flown free of her body when she was still so very young. She and I are soul sisters, and on that trip, I felt her presence so strong. It was my best friend that had gifted us this RV. And it was my best friend that had named it Grace.
Surrender to the power, surrender to the grace, surrender to the only one.
As we awoke that next morning to face the reality outside of us, I had never felt more certain that grace lives within.
The love of God's embrace. Learning to trust and let go, learning to trust and let go, learning to trust and let go, 'cause in my heart I know.
You can let go and realize that you're protected and safe and really appreciate the beauty of this. It's what we're working on. It is beautiful.
What a different world this would be if we all learned to see with the eyes of the heart and the soul. But we're only human, it's true, with our own point of view and the need to grasp and control. Learning to trust and let go, learning to trust and let go, learning to trust and let go, 'cause in my heart I know. Learning to trust and let go, learning to trust and let go, learning to trust and let go, 'cause in my heart I know.
Holy cow! We're over. Oh my gosh, look at this place. This is crazy. Basically, you just have to keep a wheel on the pavement if you can, and Mike has gotten really good at navigating the ice.
So please help me to breathe, breathe in your love, and please help me to see what we're all made of.
There is no doubt this trip is bringing me a whole new level trust.
Learning to trust and let go, learning to trust and let go, learning to trust and let go, 'cause in my heart I know. Taking all the love from inside, there is no need to hide from the glorious light which we are. So I surrender it all with permission to fall, trusting that ground isn't far. Learning to trust and let go, learning to trust and let go, learning to trust and let go.
Pretty much just drive on the snow. Would you mind standing back over on this side like you were,
Yep.
Mr. Dan?
Yep.
It makes me feel better.
That's his job, standing over on that side.
Y'all have done this before, huh?
Yeah.
Are you ready? Yeah. Ready, Dad? All right, ladies.
So have they been in the trailer since Oregon?
Yeah, they've done so well.
Well, you guys are welcome to stay as long as you want. I'm sure you want to get back to the south where it's warm.
They like it on there.
You are some big girl.
Aren't they, though?
She wants her friend.
Oh, man! That's the first time I've seen them like that. Look how quiet they just... We had finally made it to our resting place. A wild horse facility owned by a friend. As I sat there soaking them in, I could not shake the feeling that we had met somewhere before. And then I remembered. Years ago, a thought had appeared in my mind as if someone else had placed it there. And I had the strongest feeling that I simply must share this thought with another. And so I sent a message to a friend. I have an idea I want to put in your mind. If you ever see two BLM Mustangs that are glued at the hip, same HMA, gathered together, never leave each other, same color, look, etc., I would be interested in both. I'm not ready now. I have a full plate this year, but I know you go out there a lot, and I just wanted you to know I would consider a pair like that. It would also depend on who they were, of course, energy, personality, but I wouldn't care mare versus gelding. But I figure if I did not tell you I had this thought, I might miss an opportunity to find the perfect pair. I felt a clarity wash over me about this whole divine trip. I could clearly see it, the unknown mare trotting through the sagebrush to join Mateo's band. We never knew where she came from, the photographers had said. And then, joined by Omega. Once they had come together, they were never again seen apart. It had been 2014 that unknown mystery mare had joined the band. It had been 2014 that someone had placed that thought in my mind, and I had sent that message.
I sing the praises from the open heart inside of me. and see your face surrounding every single thing I see. Free your soul, free your soul, free your soul. Let freedom make you whole. I said free your soul, free your soul, free your soul. Let freedom, freedom, freedom make you whole.
Massive flocks of migratory birds painted the sky as we traveled across Nebraska. It felt like they were carrying us home. After that escapade in Wyoming, this felt like smooth sailing. Or so we thought. We were approaching Perryville, Missouri on Interstate 55. The road was blocked by police cars, and we soon realized that an EF4 tornado had just touched down, picking up cars from a junkyard and throwing them all across the interstate. I had to turn the camera off. I just couldn't video it. As I tried to sleep, I had this powerful visual of this golden blanket being tucked in all around us, all around Grace and the horse trailer. Every time that I woke up hearing those loud sirens, I just reminded myself of that golden blanket, and I helped tuck it in. Next morning, as we awoke and faced all the destruction that was scattered out all around us, I could not help but feel so humbled. We were no more worthy than anyone else to have been protected in such a storm. But we were so grateful to have been held in grace once again. We have made it to South Carolina.
Hey, Mom! I better.
Our 17-day wild horse road trip is coming to a close, and a new chapter is about to open. The girls have ridden so well.
Yes, I believe in the love you give.
They're in here.
Each and every
some alfalfa.
I believe
hey, ladies.
In the eyes around.
Right now.
Me on my way. I believe.
As you can see.
I believe.
They're not the least bit worried about me being right here. I'm videoing. You want to say something about our wild horse road trip?
Change may take me by surprise. I don't stay away.
And my mom would like to show you all the flowers.
In a disguise, still love remains. Sometimes I may feel so lost, wondering where you are. Surely no paths crossed. We can't be too far.
Our driveway. I love our driveway too. We made it, ladies. We're home.
Still can smile.
We're home.
No, I still
we made it.
Oh man, put my feet together for grass. Oh. Bigger than I remember.
These soul sisters, I already feel so close to them.
There's a herd of horses in my heart, running like the wind, wild and free, sharing gifts of life and authenticity, bringing me back home to becoming me.
Home. Yet 3,000 miles from their homeland. But these two have been together at home every state of the way. Perhaps home is less of a noun and more of a verb. Perhaps home is less of a state of location and more a state of being. These soul sisters, they have an invisible place where they unify. And in that unity, there is always home. And so, the name of the unknown mare was born. Unity.
I offer love pure and sweet, no longer stumbling my way through time. I am trained to unity, the perceptions in my mind are blossoms of divinity.
Wait a second. One more thing. Did I tell you that they're pregnant? Yeah. So that's why we had to take off all the way across the country in February. A few months after we got them safely home, they foaled, mirroring buckskin colts. We call them the Soul Brothers. Turns out that the Soul Sisters were not the only ones in foal. What sisters came with us?
2. Well, one was in my mom's belly.
We didn't even know it.
It was very strange. Like a baby in your tummy and you don't even know it.
Well, she was a little blastocyst at the time. A sprinkle.
A sprinkle. Oh, like this?
Yeah.
Like, was she like as little as the tip of my finger?
Even littler.
You're not anymore, aren't you, Mira?
Oh, tell me something else. So on the trip, there's some times that I called you Philly K because that's kind of what your daddy and I named you. And so before you could tell us what you wanted to be called, that's what we called you. But tell me what your name is now.
Serena Ranger Lover Jordan.
And so now we call you Zarina, right? Hey, Sarah Lynn. How are you? You want to come here and tell us about the trip? Come here. Let's see. Probably going to need to get up on Mama's hip. Can Mama pick you up? Here, come over here and let me pick you up.
Okay.
All right, this way. There we go. Oh, man. Okay. Whew. So, what did you think about that trip we took out west? Was it fun?
Dad.
Dad. You got in the hot springs too?
I think she's too old to remember.
I don't know if she remembers it. Well, she remembers. Maybe not in conscious memory. Did you remember that video of you and Grace at the wheel? Were you driving?
The time that we flew you got mad at me for doing that?
Yeah, I didn't really appreciate you throwing snow at the camera. Plus, Mama's not much on being cold. So.
Yeah, I know. I think that's the main reason you got in hot springs. To stay warm, because it was really cold and you wanted to be warm.
But then we had to get out of the hot springs.
And it was freezing.
Oh my gosh, it was so cold.
All right.
Okay, wave to Daddy. Say we're in Oregon.
Swimming. Swimming in Oregon.
Swimming in the hot spring. This is cool. Starlin's loving it.
Yes, she is. She's got a big smile.
Yeah, she's been splashing. So your favorite part of the trip?
My favorite part? I can't pick! You want to know my worst favorite?
What was your worst favorite?
My worst favorite was the time that we go to the desert because I fell over and got this boo-boo and it was orange because the sand was orange and I was running because I have a fear of bad boo-boos. It was like I was trying to run from myself and I couldn't because I was the one with the bad boo-boo. So I was like running away to the good Grace. I'll tell you the part that I didn't like about the trip.
What's that?
I didn't like sleeping. I was like always so hot and too comfy.
You were always too comfy?
Too comfy, always too comfy. The bed had like these really comfy blankets and they're like too comfy. I didn't like them.
Okay. I have learned so much from this herd, and I know I have so much yet to learn. Trusting more. That grace is within. and that there truly is an invisible cord of connection that runs through us all, making us all soul sisters and soul brothers. The gift of being able to feel in and touch that invisible place where each soul is connected to the other. This herd shows me how to go there. I'm so grateful.